Good Simple Living is a YouTube channel led by the couple Jeremy and Melissa Sza, nee Monroe, which has amassed over 480,000 subscribers and almost 100 million views. Their initial goal isn't hard to guess. The couple wanted to show people that a simple, sufficient life on a homestead, away from civilization, can be exciting and fulfilling. The channel shifted into showcasing their first infrastructure and housing project in early 2020. That's when the Sza family moved to an empty plot in North Idaho and started building a homestead. However, they wanted to make their home alone and knew that doing so required much money over 2 years of hard work. That was a problem, as they homeschooled all 4 of their children, so Melissa and Jeremy decided to cut costs and live in a camping trailer until they'd build a living space inside their pole barn. They started work on their modern residence after their barn was move-in ready in late 2020. The family completed their primary residence, a log cabin, on the 21st of December 2022, although the improvements continued. Their oldest daughter, Nevaeh Sza, who'd had a personal YouTube channel since the 14th of August 2017, began uploading videos from the homestead in late 2020. Thus, she attracted an audience of over 50,000 subscribers when the house was finished. The parents started their GSL Uncut podcast on the 28th of June 2023, hosting guests from various backgrounds. Here's more about the Sza family. The Sza family initially lived in Washington state and maintained a small homestead since at least 2016. However, their mortgage and car payments were burdensome, and the couple decided to become debt-free by age 40. They lived frugally for about 3 years before buying a plot in North Idaho for the current homestead. They chose Idaho purposely, as their research showed that it was the best state for the off-grid homestead lifestyle because of little to no building regulations after Brad Little became the 33rd governor of Idaho in January 2019. Thus, they could skip pulling permits, scheduling inspections, and paying high property taxes. Jeremy and Melissa also liked the weather, scenery, and the low population, allowing them to isolate themselves from the world. The family has come a long way since. Their homestead now has a main house, an addition that seems just as big, 2 barns, and a shed. They also have a chicken coop, fencing around the property, a big garden, and a cat, a dog, horses, and sheep. Jeremy and Melissa provided a breakdown of their initial expenses and saved costs by being self-sustainable. Their property is now valued at over $700,000, and they could have made over $1 million through YouTube and sponsorships, making the Sza family potential millionaires. Melissa and Jeremy married in 2008 and lived in Battleground, Washington state, although Jeremy was born and raised in Hawaii and still considers it home. They uploaded their first video, Jack and Jessica Rabbit, on the 27th of February 2016 about breeding rabbits for meat. The Szas explained that they preferred rabbits over chickens because they could utilize their fur, as they had a tanning method that used egg yolks and salt. The couple then explained their channel's mission, recording their activities on their 1-acre, 0.4-hectare homestead to help others who want to live sustainably. However, Jeremy and Melissa immediately clarified that they plan to move to the northern Rocky Mountains of Idaho to start a 20-acre or 8.1-hectare homestead. The current plot gave them enough space to raise their 4 children, as they wanted to homeschool them, teach them real-world skills, and help them understand faith, history, music, and anything they showed an interest in. Melissa and Jeremy explained that they are lifelong learners and that their children will have muddy feet and smell like sunshine and dirt at the end of every day. Moreover, they had clear plans to section their property to grow all their produce, compost the waste, save seeds, and jar the excess food. On the 6th of June 2019, the couple sat in front of the camera to answer some viewers' questions. Jeremy explained that he worked as a police officer who single-handedly financially supported a family of 6, so they had some debt. However, he and Melissa decided to live frugally for a few years back in 2016 until they'd set aside about $200,000 in savings. Melissa said that couponing, not buying new clothes, and not going out for coffee or to restaurants significantly reduced their expenses. They were close to their goal at the time of filming, so Jeremy planned to quit his job, pay off their debt, and buy the homestead for cash. That idea was exciting because they wanted to be debt-free by 40 and initially planned to move after 7 years. However, they fell in love with Idaho and decided to expedite the process. Melissa and Jeremy were ready to relocate to Idaho from Washington state in April 2020. They sold nearly all of their possessions, processed all their meat rabbits, and bought a 26-foot or 8-meter-long camper trail to live in. They expected a bidding war for their home, but one woman fell in love with it, so she kept raising her offer and bought it in one day for upwards of $600,000. Jeremy, a police officer for 14 years by then, quit his job roughly 10 days before the move. They used that stressful time to talk about their oldest children, daughter Nevaeh and son Kamani. They said that every kid had distinctive responsibilities besides education. For instance, Kamani, born in 2010, feeds cats, chickens, rabbits, and the family dog, and ensures that they eat before he does. He also helps Jeremy collect and stack firewood. After breakfast, Nevaeh was charged with gathering chicken eggs and had a special apron. The other daughter, Kira, was born in August 2012, and son Eli, born in 2015, were still pretty young, so they mostly fed the animals and gathered eggs. Their parents designed the chicken coop and the rabbit hutches so that the children could do it without entering and risking injury or becoming stuck. All 4 children helped to plant seeds and rake and shovel the garden ground. In contrast, Melissa and Jeremy excluded all children from butchering on the homestead. However, they explained the anatomy and taught their children to use all parts of the animal out of respect for what they viewed as a necessary sacrifice. The children helped during the skinning and tanning process. After arriving in North Idaho, the family was eager to begin framing interior walls for the living space in their pole barn. They didn't dislike living in their camper trailer, but it felt cramped. The family settled on creating a do-it-yourself tiny home inside the barn, which they named a small-sized barn-dominium. They built a massive loft, demonstrated installing joists and bracing, ran the electrical wiring, and insulated the walls. The process wasn't without issues, including that the inspector concluded that the wiring wasn't up to code. However, getting the first lambs of the Old English Southdown baby doll sheep in March 2020, which they always wanted, softened the impact. They were almost ready to move in by July, but they delayed it to install laminate floors, shiplap the walls, add a black accent wall, and install a front door. After laying the carpets and arranging furniture in the kids' bedrooms, they announced their 6-part series about building a shed. Jeremy and Melissa added a wood stove, furnished their primary bedroom, and moved in during September. Their barn build was completed in early December 2020, about 8 months after moving to Idaho and just before the upcoming harsh winter. Most viewers expected Jeremy and Melissa to take a breather, but the couple stuck to their plan. They obtained a green tractor from Papa Machinery and revealed the new series, Building Our Home in the Mountains, which would mark 2021. They took a family vacation to do indoor surfing in January and started the build in early February. Unfortunately, Jeremy bent over to pick up a wood plank, his back muscles spasmed, and he spent hours on the floor barely moving. They finished the chicken coop by the 17th of February, started developing their spring garden, and ordered the necessary seeds. The family sold their trailer in March to recuperate some costs and began waterproofing the foundation for their primary residence, a cabin built out of wood and concrete. They went through the standard building procedures, only running into issues with inspection, skyrocketing prices of lumber, and the shortage of materials. 3 bears also showed up on their driveway. Idaho Wildlife blocked their build process, and the whole family had COVID-19 to some degree in August 2021. However, they had something to look forward to, as the Vice News crew recorded their life story for a report about self-sustainable living. Jeremy's desire to construct a chandelier out of several deer antlers and hang it in the living room was what marked the rest of this project. Also, their dog, Kenji, survived a surgical operation to remove cancer in June 2022. The Sza family announced that they completed the exterior and the interior of the modern cabin log home in late December 2022 and organized festivities to celebrate. One thing that eased their daily problems was putting the toilet into one of their bathrooms. Although they'd mentioned it briefly, many viewers forgot that the family had used a composting system for over 2 years. In simple terms, Jeremy had to summon the courage to carry family potty buckets every few days, then take a lonely, long journey to the garden to dump it. Jeremy was ecstatic about another thing. He waited until the same period to install a lodge-style heat stove in their living room. Shortly before they moved in officially, the family went to Hollywood, California for a vacation, the first airplane flight for all of their 4 children. Before Christmas, they raised $150,000 for pediatric cancer and donated toys to kids in need and years' worth of groceries to random strangers. Besides updating their home, the family began building a budget home gym in their pole barn and added a black backsplash and gray tiles in their shower. The work continued after they started living in the main home. Jeremy took Kamani to Port Falls to pick out equipment for their home gym. His son got a squat rack with a bench, kettlebells, and free weights. They also scheduled Eli his first flight in a vintage airplane, which had been his dream for years. The family began constructing an addition to their house in late March 2023, At the same time, Jeremy and Kamani started running almost daily and timing the distance to stay in peak shape. They poured a 1,000 square foot or 93 meters squared concrete slab for the addition in late May, then added external walls, stamped and stained the patio, and put a roof on. But as of early September 2023, we're yet to figure out how to tie the two buildings together. The family took a fishing trip around that time to relax from the heavy workload. Good Simple Living had an unnamed yellow-colored cat, a dog named Kenji, and sheep and chickens before September 2021. However, that's when things changed, as Melissa fulfilled her dream of owning and working with horses after 2 decades. She grew up riding 2 Chicos, Lexon, and Rapari, and even competed with them in some disciplines, but was forced to sell them before college. Melissa was thus thrilled when they received 2 horses, Coda and Lexon, from people leading 2 other YouTube channel owners, one of whom was behind the Tin Barn Farm. Melissa sold Coda because of his forceful behavior in July 2023, but got an old, calm horse, Little Debbie. Melissa and Jeremy constructed her dream project in August, another barn measuring 64 by 40 feet or 19.5 by 12 meters. That was outside their plan. They originally wanted to buy and assemble a kit barn in the spring of 2024. However, she knew that Little Debbie needed more space and better protection from the elements. She is 18 or 19 in 2023 and has undetermined health issues, meaning that the upcoming winter will endanger her health. Another common question besides the horses' names is their religion. While the Szas never pushed it on their viewers or discussed their faith, they celebrated some Christian holidays. They clarified that they're not Mormon, but have shared a recipe for Amish sweetbread, meaning that they might have connections to the isolated community. Estimating the family's current wealth is complex. We know that they wanted to have about $200,000 in savings before purchasing the North Idaho homestead. However, it's uncertain if that was part of their 7-year plan, which was reduced to about 3 years. Jeremy and Melissa did a full breakdown of their finances in 2019 and didn't mention that amount. Instead, they revealed that the Idaho property cost them $255,000 in mortgage and that the Washington state home was worth about $600,000. In hindsight, their home sold for slightly more due to the bidding war. Melissa stated that after selling their home and paying their mortgage, they would move to Idaho with about $320,000 in their bank account. They received a quote of $58,000 for the materials for their 680 square foot or 63 meter squared pole barn, which they paid off with cash. They also paid for the road paving, septic, and a well from savings. Melissa also shared that their living expenses for taxes, various insurances, communications, and car petrol would be about $1,500 monthly in 2020. They also started paying medical insurance at about $400 per month and allowed $100 for various unexpected costs. Thankfully, she said that YouTube paid them about $2,000 monthly since September 2019, covering the bare minimum. They possibly burned through their savings, but thanks to inflation and their investments over 3 years, their 20-acre homestead is valued at $700,000 plus. According to socialblade.com, Good Simple Living earns between $440 and $7,100 per month, meaning they could take home about $85,500 in 2023 before taxes. The website suggests that advertisers pay between 25 cents and $4 per 1,000 views, or CPM, of an impressionable audience. The family received about 250,000 views on average between 2020 and 2023, with a few outliers at 30,000 and 500,000, and the viewer count went over 1 million in about 6 videos. We assume they continued making about $2,000 monthly through 2020, steadily growing to about $3,000 in 2021 and $5,000 in 2022. With those averages, they made $24,000 in 2020, $36,000 in 2021, and $60,000 in 2022, totaling about $205,000. If we use the high-end CPM mentioned above, Good Simple Living made up to $400,000 from nearly 100 million views. However, viewers should remember that Good Simple Living has promoted various products and services for over 3 years. Finding one video without an affiliate link is challenging. For instance, they received sponsorships from Good Shop, ButcherBox, AGI by Athletic Greens, and Kamikoto Knives. Companies such as Everlog System provides siding for their home, and Papa Machinery sold them their John Deere tractor, presumably at a reduced cost. Those sponsorships could triple their income, putting it up to $1.2 million at the high end. The family certainly isn't struggling for cash. They received an offer to film a reality TV show in March 2022, but turned it down because it didn't fit their goals. Good Simple Living released the first episode of their YouTube-only podcast, GSL Uncut, on the 1st of July 2023, which might have brought them an extra $2,000. Their daughter, Nevaeh, who sings and plays the piano and the guitar, has had a YouTube channel under the handle @NevaehSoza since 2017. However, she only began uploading videos for the public in October 2020 and committed to a regular upload schedule after a few months. She mainly demonstrates the homestead lifestyle from her perspective, not that of her parents. Nevaeh has almost 60,000 subscribers and over 3.75 million views, meaning she could have earned up to $15,000. The family is certainly prospering as a direct result of taking the plunge to live off-grid, but carefully planning the whole project, which continues. They aren't exactly rich, but certainly comfortable financially. Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos, which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.